Okay. Welcome to the joint meeting of the Tell City Common Council, the Perry County Council, and the Perry County Commissioners. This meeting is to discuss dispatch funding or dispatch services. And so I think we can, where does everybody want to start?
We're gonna do the pledge?
Yep, we need to do that.
Okay.
Let's go.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Gerald. Reminder. I didn't remind you, didn't I? Okay. So. We'll bring it up. Huh? It's just the other thing. Where do we want to start?
Well, let's just, I don't know, is it okay to interject? I'll just probably say too much, just,
No.
Chief has something he kind of prepared. I guess before that, do we want to just talk about what's been paid to this point and what's the differences and so forth, maybe? And then Chief can go into his thing and then, I don't know, open discussion-ish? Does that work?
Sure.
Okay, so Connie, I'll let you talk to that since you've got yours. Council, you should have a copy of that in your folders or in your packets. It's a, looks like this. That kind of across the top, probably fourth or fifth sheet in the back.
Okay. Currently, the city
Mike, you should have a
is
copy of that in your-
sending invoices to the county on a monthly basis for what our monthly expenses are. And then we are receiving a check from the county for a lesser amount than what we have been billed. I assume maybe it is what this county has budgeted for this year. But at this time, we have paid out over $157,256.47 more than we've been reimbursed. Because we're not getting reimbursed the amount that we are asking for. So that does not include August? This does not include August. This is just through July. Because I think we had just sent them the invoice for August.
We just got it today, I think.
So I did not put it on here yet. So,
Yeah, I got it yesterday and forwarded it to you guys today.
Okay.
So that's that part there.
Can I interject?
Oh, that's your-
Sorry, I just want to, okay, so let's go back to the beginning of how this came about. Last year, whenever this all kind of, I guess when Tell City said they weren't going to pay anything for dispatch services. There was originally, and I wasn't on this board whenever this started, I know about it though, because I thought it was a good thing as a citizen, and I actually fought for it, because I thought it was a good thing that the county needed to take on more responsibility of the dispatch, and Chief Llewellyn and Roger and Mayor Hale brought this up to the county at the time, and I applaud the county for trying to do what's right and start to make this less lopsided, create some kind of plan to where we can get to where we're trying to fully fund this thing. Just a few short years ago, was it 21? Is that whenever this started? Somewhere in there?
Well, it might have been late 2021, but it,
Okay.
yeah, around
I
that.
feel like it might have been around 21, but I could be off by 6 months or so. But at that time, where's Derek? Sorry, Chief Llewellyn.
Yeah, okay.
At that time, the county was paying somewhere around 150,000
Correct.
towards dispatch, 140, 150, somewhere. And then the rest was, Tell City was taking on the rest, is my understanding. Again, I was just a citizen, but I think it was somewhere close to that. Since that time, in just a few short years, the county, we are up to now where we're budgeting 634,000. So we have made, I think, good efforts to continue to try to increase this funding and get more funding and look for ways to continue to get to the point where we are paying the full amount. And so in the last year of that agreement, of 2020-21, in the PowerPoint, if you look at effective 2025, you have this, You know the PowerPoint?
Yeah, I should have that. I've got
Okay.
something similar to it. If not, it's just
Okay.
maybe broke down differently.
There was a proposal where it would be, and these were estimates, we know that, they were just looking forward, but they were estimates of approximately 951,400, and it showed different entities that would pay towards this. And at that time, I think Perry County was supposed to end up this year, 25, paying around somewhere 657,000. So right now we budgeted 634,000, but we also have a supplement that we received in May that we may be able to do something with for PSAP, which would put us very close to exactly what this plan was that everybody at that time agreed on we were going to do. And this is the last year of this agreement, so that's another issue we've got to look at going forward. How do we want that to look, and are we going to increase this, or what's going to happen with that? So that's where, from myself, that's where I stand from the county is we were following this plan that was agreed upon from years ago before me, trying to stay close to this. So, but then Tell City came in last year, I believe it was like 300, a little over 300,000 more. Is that what it was, Connie? You guys were
I think,
projecting somewhere around 314 or
correct,
309 something?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. But that was due to raises, and when employees receive raises, then your interest goes up and all your taxes and
Yeah.
all of that.
But it's really not far off from the 351 that was projected years ago. But that's because on this projection, Tell City was supposed to contribute 212,000 this year on this plan. And we're being faced with Tell City saying they're not paying anything. So that's where I feel like the disconnect is. That's from my perspective. Anybody else is welcome to weigh in, but David, you were here. Did you see it differently?
You're spot on, I agree with you.
And we do have an agreement that was signed years ago. It was prior commissioners and it was Mayor Kale, I think. Did your city council on? I don't think they had signed
I
it.
think they approved it, they didn't sign it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it has various things in it. The dispatch agreement, it doesn't have the funding piece, it just has how this is gonna work. So there was a PSAP advisory board that was set up that's supposed to, I thought they were supposed to meet quarterly, but I don't know that that's happening. They were supposed to meet, I thought, sometime in July to discuss and propose a budget to Tell City, and then Tell City is supposed to reach out to the county by August 1st of every year to schedule a joint meeting to talk about this funding. And I know that didn't happen last year and it didn't happen this year, so
Hasn't happened since the beginning of the agreement, really, but
is it not?
No,
I don't know.
no,
Those
I mean,
dates
just a couple years
don't
I've been on
work
here.
For
we
budgeting
should have asked her on that
purposes,
first, what the dates, but.
because a lot of our information we do not get till August.
How are we supposed to prepare our budget if we don't
If
have
we
the
don't-
information?
Yes,
So-
yeah, it's,
That date probably wasn't the wisest to
wasn't the
choose,
wisest
but
date. to
we
do
should have
that,
asked the
yeah.
clerk treasurers and the county auditors what was the best date for that. But we've always met, it just may have been a little bit later.
Mid-September would have been better for those dates, that way people have their budget.
Well, live and learn.
So I guess my issue is also that contract's not being followed. So, it's supposed to automatically renew, but if it's not being followed, then what good is it? So anyways, that's where I stand, but I didn't know, David, if I said something wrong or incorrectly, that's just what my record said.
You're correct.
Did you have something different, Chris, or do you?
No, I do show that was the 212.
Okay, so you have that. If you want to see this, you're welcome to see it if you want. Make sure.
I do have
Yeah,
a
have all
question on, and hopefully somebody can clear it up. Chris might.
Mike, sure.
Oh, okay.
Just if you want to look at that.
Okay, so I'm not, do y'all get a copy, do you want a copy of that proposal thing, or anybody print out that I emailed out? I have extra copies of that, I think. Let's see, I was gonna make
I
extras.
might have that.
Well, just so everybody can kind of follow along on it. If you don't, this is all I have of it, so if anybody wants to take one, pass it down till they run out, that's the extras. There might, I think I made an extra 7 or 8, I don't remember. But on it, it shows the county budget approved funds from the state 911 fund is 173,000. I got a typo in there, but and then 340,000 from the PSAP lit, and then 86,000 from the county public lit funds. I show, so you got 340,000 in there, but I show that the county received 159,000, a difference in 359, sorry. A difference about 19,000. Where's that at?
In our lit.
In your PSAP lit fund. So it was 340, which it was approved at. It was the overall budget that the council approved, 634,060. I show, because you had 340 there probably, but I show the county received 359,000 PSAP lit funds, a difference in 19,000.
That is correct. But when we enter that's where the dates are not going up. We have to enter the preliminary budget on September 1st. As you
Okay.
know, Connie, we cannot increase or decrease. So an additional appropriation would have to be
Okay.
to release that funds and nothing.
So those funds are there, but it could go in there to help overall throw 19 into the pot to help
Correct.
further. Okay, good deal.
I
That's,
had a note down from our meeting of 19, and David mentioned it
Yeah,
today, and I
I
didn't know what it
couldn't
was.
remember
We
what
had to
that
figure it out.
was.
I couldn't remember that. We probably talked about it, but we've all slept since then. So that, where I was trying to go with this whole fund, and I don't know where I want Chief to talk about his or mine, but did everybody most get a copy of mine? Did we run out? Not too soon, I hope. Okay. So, I mean, if you add that 19 into it, it shows the overall money that the county be contributing to be $653,060. The estimated budget was $978,275. So, and I haven't checked my math, but hopefully it's accurate. If not, let me know. But so it kind of shows a shortfall of around $325,000 after subtracting the county's contribution from the budget there. And that kind of talks about that in that next. So the county currently gives about $86,000 of the county public safety lit fund. And I know once you get that funds, it's distributed to Tell City, Troy, and County also. So I look at it as a pie where the county's got one piece taken out of it, but Tell City, Troy, and County's not contributing out of that fund to it. So I'm trying to make that match what you're putting in, make that pie whole. And I kind of figured of what you get in your lit, a little over around 12%. So I figured that since Tell City, you get 696,000, we got 446. So I was projecting that Tell City, and this is up to the council, they may throw something at me for saying this, contribute an additional 55,000 towards this. And then this is where, I mean, as far as how the city or the council of Troy, they're not here to speak for this, so I'm not necessarily speaking for them, but however they want to, whatever pot they want to take it out of to make that number at least whole, trying to figure something out, they could. That would generate another 68,000 to reduce off what was the balance still. And then when you take that down, you add the 9,500 from the Tell City Electric, 2,000 from the Tell City Water, and 2,000 from wastewater. So that's another 13,500. So it just leaves a remaining balance due of 243,000. And at the bottom, I kind of broke it down. I mean, we don't know where it could go under, it could go right at, it could go over. I don't know. So I started at like 50,000. If they need to put another 50,000 in it, that's what each Tell City, Perry County, County would have to contribute to get to those numbers. I based it off population, plus or minus some 50, 100 people. I don't know. I use Google. So if it's wrong, we'll straighten that out. But it's not going to make I don't know if it make a huge change, but we can figure that out a little further. But it kind of shows you what each entity, if it's the full budget, like the county, all the county would have to chip in additionally to what they already have is 163. Tell City an additional 63,000, Pendleton 12, and then Troy 3. And if you go back to that form that Kelly was talking about, which is right here, it shows the city of Pendleton gives you 27. Well, you're 12.7, and the lit part is another 12. That's 24,000. It's not too far off from that number. So I mean, we're getting somewhere close to this in some ways, but and I know this might be hard to follow. Take time to read it and digest it if you need to. Just wanted to. So that's kind of a thought process. I was trying to do something. I mean, it may not be the right answer, but figure there's a problem. I'll bring some solution. If it don't work, it don't work. But it's doable, I think, in some ways. So, did you need to see this, Connie? I've got that somewhere. I just don't
No,
remember where
I've got
put
it somewhere, I just don't have it with me today.
Okay.
But it
Do
pretty
you
well.
guys need to see that?
I don't have one of those names.
Okay, well, I've got one. I don't think I have mine in.
That's
I
okay.
don't have it with this, so.
I mean, it's basically the same as, it's kind of the same as this one here. Is that right, Kelly?
What?
That is kind of the same, it looks like the
I think
same
that's-
numbers.
yeah,
It's just a
slide,
blown up
sorry.
version of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just printed the whole thing.
So that's kind of where some of that is there. I mean, obviously, if you look at some of those numbers, that was in addition on that paper there, there's more public safety lit than 279,000 in there. There's 300 or something. So that, you know, some of the, it's just a budget. It was a proposal that Luke and others worked on to come up with something. And I don't know if all these numbers are, say, what I call concrete numbers, but it's a rough guess estimate.
It looks pretty close.
Yeah.
It looks-
So,
On here, it says if our assumptions hold true, the financial contribution fraud from each entity could ultimately be less than anticipated, a hopeful scenario that hinges on the actual cost of dispatch services as we approach 2025. Shouldn't that be 2026?
well, this is the 2025 budget we're working on still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's confusing.
Well, I've seen that says if we approach 2025.
Yeah. And the same formula could almost be used in some retrospective. It depends on what we come up with for 26, but I know that's when this one's, I'll say done, but in
We
essence, done.
definitely need to work on the future.
So, and we'll get that hopefully before we adjourn. We still, everybody remember, we got to try to schedule something for that sooner than later because we've got budgets, you've got budgets. We want to have something in there. So there's my thoughts. I mean, love it, hate it.
So I'm a little confused. The way I'm looking at your proposal there, the county is near where this Luke agreement said we would be in 2025, right?
I haven't added up that part.
County, are we not paying on
We
that
are,
schedule?
we're,
to get
I think it's 657 is what we should be, and we're at 634, but we have that
So
supplemental.
we're within 20,000.
In that 19,000, if we added it in, the more we
Okay,
got,
we
we
get
would
us
be
there
there.
to where, what this agreement was that
That's
originally was set up. The county's on, okay, so if that's the case, out of that agreement, who hasn't paid their portion to get it up to the 900 and whatever number?
68.
Has no one else contributed?
That's up to the county to talk to Hamilton and.
No, so Cameron hasn't paid, Troy hadn't paid, and Chelsea hadn't paid?
You'd have to ask Chris. I don't know. We haven't, but I don't know about them.
The information that I got from Steve Hauser last year, about this time last year, was that Tell City's not paying, they're not paying.
So in other words, the only contributors to 911 so far this year has been the county.
Correct.
Okay, and in the original agreement, it was broke down contributions from not only the county, but the city.
Yes.
So how did we switch to, this agreement was okay initially as we stepped up our contributions, to now we're in 2025 and it's not relevant, the county has to pay everybody's share. I mean, now maybe that's an issue in 26, but I think when they put this together, and I wasn't here either, but I think they agreed this is a step-by-step process. Each unit would contribute till we got to the end game. So maybe somebody can shed some light on that. But
We were eventually trying to get Tell City to where they would be zero.
Yeah.
right, I think that was the incentive, through a step-by-step basis rather than, your cold turkey cutting it off and you've got to come up.
And in the meantime, we have increased PSAP.
Well, that's part of this plan too. It was always step up the percentages so that we started receiving more money because the county just didn't have $500,000 or $600,000 instantly to put into this. So, and we have done that. I think you originally did it, and then whenever we paid off the jail, we did it once again to
We
raise
first
those.
did it with the property tax replacement credit. We did away with that and took it to PSAP. And then when we paid off the jail, we put another point
Two.
in there.
0.02, and then we also put it in certified shares.
So if you go back and look at the one that I know this framework, I call it was not actually part of this agreement. They weren't stapled together. I think it was just a working document. Does that sound right, Chief?
Yeah, I don't know that anybody ever said this is our
Yeah,
path.
it was just a working document, but
I think it was kind of an accepted path, and that's what the pay was
But
based on.
if you look at this here, So the county of state 911 funds contributed, or for this year, or 25 gather, for this year, $173,000 roughly. And if you look at the proposal here, state 911 should have been 283,000. Okay? Well, then if you look at the PSAP lit bond, or lit funds, it's 340, where they was only going to do 279. Now it is more, but there's still.
I think we just chose a different area because there were some other expenses coming out of the statewide 911 for the county's part of the dispatch services.
I remember something like that. I just don't remember all the
We
details.
pay a lot of the equipment out of statewide 911.
Even though,
Right.
even though those two things are flip-flopped, we're still at the amount that we were supposed to pay.
But the county also says it's supposed to pay 95,000 of their general. It does show that on here. And I know they do I don't know if everybody remembers, but the 35,000 hospital general fund, that's the ambulance dispatch thing or whatever it's called.
And the county covers that.
Correct, and they got that in here. It's just, there are some numbers that are off here and there, and that's why I'm trying to come up with a solution to
I
work
think
out.
we should have the discretion, whatever fund, because it's a shell game, wherever the money actually is, as long as we meet what our obligation was with the agreement, and I think we're real close. If we can pull it from this spot or that spot, I don't know that plays a crucial part.
But you're under the understanding that scale that you're looking at there, you're assuming that is exact amount of what you guys are supposed to pay, and it wasn't going to fluctuate from year to year. I mean, I think I was involved in those conversations, and my understanding at the time was that was going to be a guide to show the weighted balance. There was no way Luke Thomas was going to be able to know, 5 years later, what the operating cost was going to be.
Sure, but Derek, if we turned around then and took percentages and backed it out off of $900,000, backed out the percentages, then the county's gonna be picking up roughly 2/3, maybe 70% of the cost. Then the other communities would do that, so that if our number went to $1 million, we could base it, we pay 70 or whatever, then it turns to 700,000. So we can use those ratios to base a concept. Now we didn't sign this as far as I know, or it was just a framework, a structure, so that the group that did it, and I wasn't there, so you can clarify me if I'm wrong. It was a path forward where we could step by step, year after year, get to the point where lessen the burden on the cities and the county picks up more of it. And then it gave the county an opportunity to adjust their PSAP rates and that, so they would generate more money to offset some of these costs. That's just my interpretation. That's what I think it was all about. So
I would agree with that.
So, I mean, if you based your percentages out of it, you can still say, I think we're relatively close. Now, this is just 25. I know it ends in 25. 26 is another animal.
And I
Well-
will say, we had sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you can, sorry.
You can go ahead.
Well, I mean, even looking at the trend of this, what was August's bill, Connie?
It was 60-some thousand, I think.
So if you throw that on top of the current 157,000, you're pretty much, if we say, all right, we're gonna follow the plan, hypothetically. The county still would have to come up with money for September, October, November, and December then. The city has already contributed, it's in the red, 157,000.
And
We've already, technically, you could say we've already contributed that much if we would use that as the first part to go to that 217. You throw that, what she's talking in there, the August amount, you're at 200, our contribution, we're done at the end of August.
well, see, I'm looking, Tell City here on this sheet I'm looking at, may not be correct, but it's a 212,000, 293,000 contribution on a 951,000 proposed budget. So I don't know where you're running budget-wise, where you're gonna end up at the end of the year.
The proposed budget this year is 978,000. So it's not ridiculously far off.
So 20,000. So if everybody pays, so we'd have to come up with another 14.
Well, if the council would agree to stick to the 217,
212.
or 212 or whatever it is, I can't speak for them now. I can't see them paying another dime towards it. I mean,
23,000, right?
Because you also have to come up with September, October, November, and December.
Depends. You say it's gonna be-
And one of those is a larger month, so you're probably looking at about 111,000 for an extra pay weekend. So
So what's your projections for where you're at right now, you're in 7 months, right?
we're 7 months in and it's 157,000.
No, I'm not talking your overage, I'm talking about cost of operating a facility.
Oh,
What's your total cost?
Money's got that right there. 527.
I
Well-
ran it, okay, I ran this through August and I should have kept
So
it
that's
the
okay.
same, but I ran this
As
through
long as it's
August.
complete months.
For our dispatcher, our expenses through the month of August has been 580,686.
So you're running 72,585 times 12, you're gonna be at $871,029.
We also got an extra pay week in there, and she's gotten May when it was 4.
And we did an additional appropriation at last night's council meeting for 35,000 for health insurance and 8,000 for utilities. So that did bring that budget up to over $1 million now.
So you have actually, over and above the numbers you just told me, you're gonna have a $35,000 additional health expense charged off to dispatch.
Yes. And 8,000, approximately. And then 8,000 approximate in utilities, depending on what the utilities are,
Over and above what,
over and above
so when I take,
what we started.
when I divide that by 8, because August is the 8th month, and I come up with my monthly average cost, that's not truly what it is gonna cost you, because you're projecting the last 4 months is gonna be substantially more expensive than what the first 8 months have been, based upon utilities and additional healthcare expenses.
In the previous 3 years, you always came under budget.
Right, they was always shooting under budget from what
Yeah.
I've got on this list.
So now this year, you're saying you're gonna be over budget.
For the health
Why is
insurance.
that?
It looks like it's pretty significantly under budget usually.
But even if we look at 871, the county kicked in, I'm gonna use 650. We're looking at $220,000 to get us there, and Tell City was what, contributing 212? And then if we've got the hospital, the city of Campbell and Troy, the electric department, wastewater, water department, I mean, I don't see the big discrepancy. Maybe I'm missing something here.
Chief, do you want to give your, while people's kind of looking at this here and thinking, but do you want to give what you talked about? Chief, I've got a couple extra copies. Where'd those go? No, that's not it.
Connie, that additional that you did, you said you did last night,
Yes.
is that just because you're paying this difference along the way? Or is it actually in addition to the total budget? Because if you haven't used up the whole total budget, why are we doing additional?
Because there's no money in there to transfer, and my line item for health insurance is going to run in the red.
Okay,
Okay, because if currently, I only have
4 copies of that.
29,000 left
He's fair and
in the
share.
line item for health insurance,
for
an
the rest of the-
appropriation, and we pay out 15,000 a month. And I've got September, October, November, and December to pay yet. 4
And that's only
months
for dispatch.
for dispatchers, yes, for their insurance. And that
So
always,
something changed, or you had an increase or something?
it always varies. When you have change of employees, some of them may change from single to family and that throughout the year, and it changes. So you can never put in the budget what you are gonna definitely spend.
But you think that 35 will get you to the end of the year?
Yes, it will. Yes,
With your 20
yes,
left in,
yes. What I have
Tell
left.
City's fully funded on there.
Pardon?
you're fully funded for health insurance?
Yes, yes.
And did I hear you say you pay like 95% of all the insurance?
I was wrong on that. So we refigured it all, and actually we pay 89%, and I think the county's at 90% they contribute. So we refigured it, I misspoke, and I wanted to next time try to clarify that, so. Sorry to the city employees, I thought
I
we
don't know
were
what the
good.
county is, I haven't looked at that, but
Yeah,
I have
I'll check it
Chris
out.
shares with me.
self-insured.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know
So,
what
you know,
percentage we're at.
if we have a good year, we save money. If we have a poor year, we eat it. So it's different than what,
It's hard for
theirs
us
is a
to say
fixed
that.
cost.
One of the things, yes, I have 4 of those ones that Chief's gonna kind of discuss, so if you can, I don't know who all got one, they got a little red bar on them. I thought I printed a few things. So, you should. Share mine. But, take a look at those, he's got some thoughts and some. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you do.
If you need extras, I can look at Chris's.
You'll share mine.
They might need one down there, I don't know if they got it all.
Long way around is the short way around.
One of these.
You have one?
He'll share with
I
you.
can look at Chris's.
So,
Do you need one?
We're sharing one,
You're
but
sharing? Okay.
if you got an extra one, I'll take it.
What's that? They can share.
Chief, I'll let you have the floor and
Okay, well, I can't say that I have a solution, that's not, I don't have that, but what I did today was I just kind of dumbed this down. That helped me understand things, and hopefully it'll clear up, maybe some misunderstandings about, the cost of operating the dispatch. This doesn't cover everything, but I thought what I wanted to do was get on paper what the bare basics are to operate this thing. You know, what is the expense that is going to be there that we have really no influence on at this point. So just looking at the personnel, for example, which I have kind of highlighted over on the right side on the lower part of that column. So for the 2025, these numbers are current too. So as of this year, the 2025.
Excuse me, Eric. This is for a 12-month period.
Yes, yes. So, right now, unless something changes and someone resigns or something else, we are projected, that the expense of our salary plus our holiday pay for our full-time dispatcher. So I'm talking about 9 full-time employees, 8 full-time dispatchers and our records coordinator, okay? Who is, comes out of our dispatch budget. She spends the majority of her time with dispatch matters. $496,052.75. Okay. Of those employees, the city contributes interest, $55,557. The insurance, based on the plans that those employees are currently on, $183,531 is what the city contributes towards that.
That's health insurance, correct?
Yes, health insurance. Also, clothing allowance, $3,550 for the uniforms for the dispatchers. Our part-time pay, we figured through the end of August, which is what we have paid out so far. If you kind of prorate that to what it will look like based on the path it's going, it'll be $30,000 in part-time expenses by the end of the year. Medicare, Social Security, $45,514. So the total in personnel cost alone is $810,654.75. Now that does not include our supervision or anything like that. Okay, that's not included in there. Above that, we have an area called recurring maintenance. These are the things that we have to have to run that facility. It's not everything we have, but it is the things that I consider to be required. Up until the end of May, we were paying a contract with Ohio Valley Two-Way Radio, which was upward of $14,000, almost $15,000 a year, to retain them on speed dial to come over and maintenance our equipment 24/7 if it goes down. We were paying that maintenance fee. We canceled that at the end of May because I was told by Steve Hauser that there's no reason to have it because the equipment in there, is non-replaceable, it's too old. So basically, we're gonna be better off at this point paying as needed if there is some type of an issue in there. So that has since been terminated, but we have paid $7,373.22 in 2025 for that. We have a recorder system that records every call that comes in that facility, every call that goes out, every piece of radio traffic that comes in, every radio that goes out. That is a requirement for PSAF. And that costs the city $4,829 a year. We have a couple of softwares, a few softwares that we use. One of them is our training software. The law recently changed to where dispatchers are required to attend an annual training, just like police officers. It's just a different type of training. For us to maintain that software, to track their training and such, $3,150. We have a CAD system that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars several years ago, but we pay a recurring maintenance cost on that every year for $19,543.42. And then we have our time tracking software that tracks the time clock and things where dispatch clock in and out of work. $2,435 a year recurring expense. Those are the bare basics. When you add that with personnel, we are at $847,985.39. We are getting from the county $634,060. That's what we're getting for dispatch services. That's about $200,000 less than what it even costs to pay our employees. So I want to make sure that I share that because I've heard people say that Tell City's not paying or whatever else, but these are actual costs that is over, we're not even getting enough money to pay our staff. So looking at it like that, the city is paying for all of the dispatch supplies. The city's paying for the utilities for the center that runs 24/7. We're paying for the specialized internet that we have to have in that room. We're paying for certain repairs that come up, not radio repairs, but if a monitor breaks in the middle of the night or a chair falls apart or a desk collapse or whatever, we're paying those to fix those things. We're not getting any reimbursement for supervision or management of all the personnel. We're not getting any reimbursement for IT services, cleaning services, employee services that we provide our staff, which is mental health services. One of the things that I'm passionate about, as long as I'm the chief and they work for us, I'm going to treat them as well as I do my police officers. I feel like they deserve that. So right now, any of those services that we provide, it's at our expense. The training and travel for dispatch is at our expense. Right now, that is the way that it appears to me. If I'm wrong in looking at it that way, I would welcome that. If I'm just looking at the numbers and dumbing it down, that's what it appears that we're doing right now so far.
So that's through August?
That would be
Projected out.
anticipated through the end of the year.
Okay.
The only thing that we don't know for sure is what extra overtime are we gonna accumulate and what are part-time. Like we just kind of estimated based on the way it's going so far.
The salaries here at the top, this number, the 496, that has overtime built in.
I don't think so, does it? Connie?
I mean,
It's got their normal,
Their normal bill to overtime, yes.
yes, but if they have any extra overtime,
What's their normal?
so
8 hours
8 hours a week,
paid there.
so 8 hours every 2 weeks.
Yes.
And then how many
Yes.
dispatchers do you have?
We have 8 regular dispatch. That is the the bare bone minimum that it requires to run that 24/7.
So you have 8 on staff.
And we use our records coordinator to fill in.
Okay, is that included in this 496?
Yes, sir.
That's another.
And then how many part-time do you have?
Active, Renee, what, we got about 5 active, 4?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, it fluctuates, but right now we have 4 or 5 that are pretty active.
4 or 5 part-timers.
Yeah.
And my assumption is then we're paying for 9 employees, either family or individual plans on the insurance.
Yes.
Not the
The
part-time.
full-time.
Full, part-time does not get insurance, it's just full-time.
The 8 or 9.
Yes.
We're looking at 8 or 9 now.
And that doesn't include Philip.
Correct.
That's separate, but that's another,
Yeah, that's an expense that we report as a dispatch expense.
Yeah.
I just left that off of this. I know there's, maybe some questions of whether or not that should exist, so I just calculated it without that even being on there.
but currently when you bill, you're billing like it's 50% of a salary, pension, and
Correct.
insurance.
Correct.
So when we get those bills, that's what you're showing.
And a
Yes.
portion of Connie's and a portion of payroll. Correct?
Not a portion of mine, but a portion of my payroll deputy.
For salary,
Yes.
you know what percentage that
It's
is?
$3,000 is what it is. I don't know what the percentage
I thought there
is.
was a 19,000 for admin, and I thought that was.
Well, it's the 2%.
That was the additional 2% that we have been adding on to the bill is the admin fee.
You can just chalk
So-
those up as our expenses, because we're paying that too.
I
I'm just
think,
trying to
So
go by
that does
the,
not go to any salaries or anything like that admin.
I'm just
fee.
going by the budget
Yes.
that was given last year that was,
Yes.
that I was remembering the line items.
Yes.
That were in there.
And for Phillips, it's only 50%, not 75, right?
Correct.
Just- We had
Yes.
discussed 75 or something.
Yeah, there was some
Yeah.
discussion.
We
on that.
discussed-
Couple years
I
ago.
went back and looked at some minutes. We discussed that it go from 75 to 50, but it would go back up to 75 once Philip was certified in dispatching, I think is kind of how I remember, something like
And
that.
I want to mention too, that I was involved in those early conversations, 3 mayors ago or something like that, or 2 mayors ago, but this has been a long process. But one of the things that was important to us at Hill City at the time, and I think the county agreed, was that we felt like the county should be involved in the discussions about salaries and things, We felt like that, we've always felt that way. It was our idea, our suggestion to do a PSAP committee. And, my concern about that is every time that we looked at wages, every time we looked at giving staff increases and things, we reached out to the PSAP committee and we tried to get a meeting together, and we were told that that PSAP committee has nothing to do with that. They have no authority over that. They have nothing to do with it. So all we did is we did our own wage studies. We compared our dispatchers to like counties and what they were being paid. And just like we do our police officers and everyone else, and we made our raises appropriate based on what the average should have been for them. We would have been more than happy to sit down at the table and take it to a vote or anything. And nobody, but it was just that they said they didn't have the authority to do that.
That may be where the disconnect's at.
I thought that was their whole, the responsibility and the reason, the reason
Well,
why they did that is to review those things.
Who said no then? Who's the?
I can tell you, Steve Hauser was always the person that we reached out to first, because I think he's a permanent member on there. And it was actually at a county meeting. I don't remember which one, but it was at the courthouse. We were having a meeting and we were having these same discussions. And I stood up and said, the PSAP committee needs to be reviewing these things. And at that meeting, it was told to us that they have no authority at all over the budget. That's not something that's their responsibility. So they don't have the final say. I would agree with that. But they were supposed to come together because it's got people from Hamilton. It's got people from.
Sounds like there was a misunderstanding because
Yeah,
we're looking at the interlocal agreement.
That's what I thought it was.
But they have the ability to hear those and make recommendations.
Yeah.
Then it goes back to these two councils to adopt it.
Right.
But I think that was just somebody lacking the understanding that, sure, that's exactly what the PSAP committee does. So that you folks don't have to sit down and get into the nuts and bolts of that. They can come to you and say, we've studied this, this is the
And
recommendation.
maybe, in all fairness to Steve, maybe that's how he was told, I don't know. But it was at that meeting, that it was told, Steve had said that they don't have really any authority on that,
Well, and I'm not trying to cast stones at anybody about that. It's,
But
hey,
I can
I'm a
understand,
lawyer and I've read this, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I would draft it exactly the same way.
I can understand him saying that because he doesn't have the right to raise somebody's wages, but the purpose of that group is to provide oversight on more of the daily type activities
Absolutely.
versus council or commissioners. And what they should do is make a recommendation. And then the council would consider that recommendation at budget time. But, I think that's the reason you have a redevelopment. Does the same thing. It does a lot of the work, kind of the grinding work versus the others. And that's the intent of these. And we struggle, I'm gonna be honest with you, because I think a lot of times we establish committees and I think we fail because we don't thoroughly describe job duties and let them know exactly what the expectations are. And then we get a situation similar to this. And I think good people serving on committees is positive for our community, and we just need to do a better job of it.
How many people sit on the PSAP board?
There's,
And the interlocal agreement.
7.
7%, yeah, there's.
2 by the commissioners, 2 by the mayor, 1 by Hamilton mayor, 1 by Troy council, and the EMA 911 director, so
And does it say something in there about meeting quarterly? I thought
it does,
okay.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I knew I didn't make that up. I thought,
Yeah.
I read this somewhere, that they're supposed to meet quarterly, and then I thought like around July, they were supposed to meet to talk about, discuss a budget, and then propose it to Tell City, then Tell City calls the county and says, let's get together and look at it. That's
Mhm.
my interpretation of that agreement.
Mhm.
But I don't know why that's not happening.
Rick, can we all agree that just with this paperwork that I provided here, that Tell City is contributing to dispatch services every year? And I mean, because I think that there are people that believe that Tell City is somehow profiting money off this. I want to be clear that that is not the case. This is costing the city money.
Tell City is contributing. The thing I think you get back with, when I look at using Connie's numbers and turning them into 12 months, she's at 871, Derek, your number's 847. So with some miscellaneous things in there, I get it, you're close.
Yeah.
As to where you think you're gonna be, where Connie thinks she's gonna be.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I go back to is, are you following the agreement established in 21 or the framework? Or are you now saying that that's not a valid path to follow?
And this would be the last year.
This is the last year of it, but I mean, it went through step by step as the county increased the different areas of funding came in. But this is for
Part of
25.
that framework, though, I mentioned, part of that framework, it's like, what Becky read a while ago. I think the last paragraph on there talks about actual costs. Okay? It's not just some magical number that wasn't estimated. There's actual costs involved in this, and that's what I was hoping to establish here.
Right, and this thing here was projecting in
950.
25, 951,400. And they had it broke down how they're gonna get to that figure. So,
So
I think you're gonna come in underneath 951 this year.
I do want to bring a point just for everybody's sense. Chief, what, and maybe Renee could help answer this too. What does it cost to train a dispatcher, roughly? What is our cost? Is it 5,000, 2,000? Would you guess?
Everybody's a different, learns at different speeds, and some of them needs more, but, if you just look at it in the terms of how long it takes a dispatcher to learn the job, I mean, a great dispatcher, how long does it take them to be, effective to where they can handle a radio independently in such a manner?
I would say to answer 911 and take the call and handle it, it's about 3 months. Probably get released after 6 months to sit second chair.
So
What does that mean?
can we,
Second chair?
Yeah.
To be able to sit at the console.
By
and be the
yourself?
Second,
Oh, be the second.
with somebody else.
Gotcha.
I
So
mean,
there's 2 of you.
Yes.
can we put a number on that? What I'm getting at is, no one's arguing salaries, I understand, but I just want to understand when we look at raises, I'd rather give someone a 2, 3, 4, 5% raise versus them quit, go somewhere else to make more money, and then turn around and spend $5,000 or whatever the number is to train them. When if I just give them that raise, it only cost me $2,000. You know,
We don't want to train other.
there's some cost that
We don't want
comes
to train
with
other
that,
agencies.
but also it's more on our dispatchers to train them, and it does take time away from what they're trying to learn and do. And I know we all think about that, but I just want to bring that up as a point.
What is the turnover rate in dispatchers?
One of the highest in the city.
Yeah,
We have discussions of hiring dispatchers more often than any other portfolio meetings.
you're talking about taking a person, putting them in a room, for 12 hours at a time and having them answer everyone's problems, and it's just not for everybody. And there's a lot of people that come in there and they'll try it for a little bit, and, you know, you can't run fast enough to get a job, you know. That's just the
We
way it
had
is.
2 dispatchers answer suicide calls 2 in one day. So that takes a lot on everybody's mental state.
Sure.
So, yeah, there is, and just, you know, just like law enforcement and everything, it is a high turnover job.
And Becky, I was just talking from the perspective of I'm at the Board of Works
You
meetings.
hear us,
When the department heads come in and say, we want to hire somebody, it's the police department wanting to hire a dispatcher. I mean, 9 out of 10 times it seems like.
And so if you
Other
ever,
council members can confirm that.
if you ever anybody saying, oh, they make too much, or that's too much, or why, that's kind of why, because I don't want us, and I know none of you are in this room, so I'm definitely not implying that, but I just want everybody to just keep that in the back of your mind, or anybody that's maybe watching this live or later, they understand why they make this much, or why, you know, we've actually worked to get our dispatcher salaries up. They were well under the average for quite some time, and you know, if you don't give these raises, they'll continue to fall further and further, and then they'll seek other positions. And it's just, we'd love to make the turnover rate where we don't have to hire any every year. They all just stay forever.
Yeah, that's to say that following up on what I said, it has gone down. It used to seem like every other meeting we were hiring a
Well,
dispatcher.
there's a lot
Not
of
as often.
factors outside of money. I mean,
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
strain in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
That you have
I
to-
couldn't do it.
Anguish, yeah.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
you know, I feel like we do offer a good employment for these people that are deserving of it. And you know, my big disappointment is the fact that I felt like that we all should have been able to come together on these things and you know, have you all give some input on that. You know, I appreciate Brad coming down today and seeing the center, come down and visited and checked it out. And, you know, most everybody in the spring has done that, you know. So most certainly it's, we want you guys to understand and be a part of those decisions. We would have loved to have your input on increases or whatever. So,
Brad, you get an application or come on down. Yeah, he's a busy man, I know. Just you're retired, so you know, part-time, we were always looking.
Exactly.
No, it is my aunt was a dispatcher for ever. I mean, chief members there, and I saw what she went through. I mean, back then it was just one person answering the phone. I think they didn't have 2 people. She's out there trying to do everything with one person. It's a lot. So, you know, Chief went over this really well, but you know, there are also things like Connie, I was talking the other day, what we don't even have in this budget that we cover on our own. So when you see that we're not paying the 217 or the 212, where that number was, there are a lot of ways we are. It's just not on paper, because if we put it on paper, it would show. We'd be getting our money back in essence, because we're paying ourselves back for it. But what was that we talked about? Part of one of the salaries is one, and then there was a couple other things that we didn't include.
Phillips share of insurance.
Phillips.
is not,
Phillips share of health insurance, so
it's being all paid out of the.
we pay all that. That's not
That it's
contributed.
not being,
Police budget.
Like, it's-
You mean the 50%'s not, it's just his 50%
Right.
salary.
Right.
correct.
Yeah, it's
Not
just his
not
salary,
his
not his-
50%
Send
pension
insurance.
or.
insurance or anything else.
No, that's all.
So it's just the salary. So I mean,
no, I'm sorry, I answered that wrong. His
Pension.
pension
pension
is
is,
being
but
paid out of here,
health
but
insurance
health insurance is not.
and, okay.
Yeah.
And I guess his taxes on payroll is,
That is
I'm sure.
coming out of here, out of dispatch.
It is,
I think,
okay.
Yes.
we said payroll,
Yes.
so I'll make sure that was the
Yes, yes.
small, and it's a big number in some ways, but small in others.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are those things in there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what happens if Tell City says, all right, we're gonna pay the 217 or 212, or I gotta get that.
It's
number.
212.
Thank you, 212. I keep saying that, so I don't know where
I
that's
mean, you
at.
can pay 270.
Yeah, I'm sure, a couple of extra there, but, what's to say that Cannleton and Troy is gonna pay their 27,000 for Cannleton and Troy 6,000?
Well, I will say that, and I don't know, they haven't had a board discussion, but I did have a call from a member of the Troy Town Board.
Good.
And they just wanted to let me know that, this person was on board with paying something towards dispatch. They were not in disagreement. This person overheard a conversation last year that suggested, don't pay it. And I don't know why that was said, or I don't know why somebody would go around telling somebody not to pay it when you should. But anyways, it's a current board member that
Okay.
said that they would be fine with paying something towards dispatch, so
I mean, there's those.
that's good.
There,
I mean,
it
now
is.
we need to get, Cannleton on board too, but
And like everyone, budgets are tough, and we're all making our cuts to where we can. I mean, it's at some point, you turn the lights out, I guess, in some places just to save a little bit, and that's what you gotta do.
Jeff, could you email me who's on the set?
It's in this agreement. I don't know who the individuals
Who the
are,
actors
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Oh,
we know who
but
they
I
are.
can,
We know who
I
they
say I can find out who they are.
Yeah,
Well-
I know where they come from.
Two
but
members
I
from the commissioners, so you guys should,
I have those on the website.
you've got those. Do you know who your two are?
Yeah.
Who are your two?
Roger and, what was Tracy? No, Tracy was your office. Roger and Micah, sorry. Tracy was the county's.
So I do not know
I
who
had
Troy's.
Cannleton as Lee Hall and Troy was Jason Linney. This
That
has
was
been,
the original.
this has been bad.
Yeah, Lee still would be
I think Lee
Cannleton's.
still would be, but I don't know who Cannleton's is. I mean, not Troy's, I'm sorry.
No, it actually might be Jason, because I think Peter Lindy was the first one. So I think it might be Jason.
Then I had my default, Steve Hauser.
We
Steve's
got Steve,
a
he's
permanent
the
member.
easy one.
Yeah, he's the
We don't
E911.
remember
Are you
him.
sure yours is, we have Roger Smith and Tracy Young are ours.
that's what I thought.
That's what I had.
That's
Maybe
what the
yours
county
is
is.
Phil and.
No, I had county as Tracy Young and Roger Smith.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's us.
That's who
Then
the
Tell City,
commissioners
Phil
picked.
Flamin and Micah Jackson. I don't know where I got that at, but
Okay,
it's been a while.
I was thinking Phil was automatic on, but I guess he's not, that's why.
And another thing, I think they're 2-year terms, so, that, all of that needs to be,
They need to be reappointed.
I don't know.
Well, no, it's not.
I think once we,
It's
I think
24.
once we get this kind of figured out, maybe a small joint meeting or just a small group to kind of work up that PSAP committee and
No,
maybe get that a little more active at some point.
that was just a year ago, Chris.
Huh?
It was a year ago when I did that.
now, I do want to say that last year, and I think probably most people, the county council tried to do an edit modification to where we would lower our edit rate 0.23% and take that money and slide it over to critical services, public safety services, jail, EMS, and dispatch that are currently, we are underfunded. And that would not put any extra burden on the taxpayer if we did that. And there was opposition from the city, but it would have brought in an additional 150,000, somewhere around 150,000 towards dispatch. So again, I mean, I was a big proponent of that. I wanted that to go through because not only was it gonna help dispatch, it was gonna help EMS and the jail also. Because currently, the county, if we're talking about the pie, and who's paying what, the county is paying $350,000 out of our slice of the edit pie. So when everybody says, Tell City residents are paying twice, that's not necessarily true. So we have these taxes that come in, and then we have, for our general fund and things like that, that we get a portion from Tell City. But then we have the edit funds that come in and they get split. So the county gets their portion, the city gets their portion, or Tell City, Cannleton gets their portion, Troy gets their portion. The city has taken the county has taken our portion, and we are spending, I think it's $350,000 for jail operations and courthouse security. That is if you add them together, because one's 275 and the other one's like 75. So that's that was another reason we wanted to do the edit modification, to make it fair for everybody. Kind of like you're splitting this up right here, Chris. In your proposal, you want everybody to pay their fair share out of this fund or that fund. That was our whole reason for doing the edit modification, so that one entity, Tell City's not taking on a $200,000 burden for dispatch. We were trying to increase it from everybody. We were trying to increase the jail operations funds from everybody, and the EMS operations from everybody. County, Tell City, Hamilton, and Troy, so that everybody was paying their fair share for all of those things and making it a priority. So there was a lot of misconception about the edit modification, but that was the whole intent of it. It did not pass. I was hopeful that we could try again this year, maybe explain it differently, but then Tell City did a bond against their edit funds for 2 years. I think it was $1.6 million. You took out a loan against your edit funds for $1.6 million, and 1.665, I think, $1,665,000. You took out a 2-year loan that cost you $235,713.84 in fees, lawyer fees, and interest, just to tie up those funds so that we couldn't potentially try to do that again. And I just think that really, really doesn't help, because if you take that $235,000, you add it to the $150 we could have got from the edit modification, we would have been even closer. But I mean, we can't change the past, but it was a little frustrating, I have to say.
Well, I mean, like you said, there's some legal things that we may agree or disagree on that at the time that it could have and couldn't been done, and obligations and stuff that we had in our plans that caused us to that. But moving forward, all that edit's going to change anyways in 2020. 7, 8, something like that. Yeah.
27 for 28.
Yeah, it's a significant decrease in change, and if that stays the way it is. So.
And at that time, if that stays the way it is, we will have a lot more money to properly fund all those services. So it would have, what we try to accomplish with the edit modification, we should have money as a county to be able to do that and properly fund dispatch, EMS, and jail without putting any extra burdens on the taxpayers.
So, but with what I was trying to do here, although it does help bring that, what you're talking about, the pie back to where some things where Tell City would be contributing $55,080 towards what that fund at your, because the PSAP lit $340,000. Everybody in the county, including Tell City, Troy County, we're all part of that.
Yeah.
So that pie's whole. The state 911 funds, that pie's whole. So really, at this point, the only pie that's not whole when you're trying to consider funding is the county public safety lit funds, which is $86,000 is what you all contribute, or has contributed for the proposed, or not proposed, actually did, for the 25 budget. So Tell City would chip in $55,000, Cannleton $12,000, and Troy $630. That completes that pie whole, and everybody's paying their, what you just talked about, fair share, and still no increase in taxes. I mean, to me, that works pretty good too. It helps.
And I remember when you did this, you come up with this proposal, or it was similar. Okay,
Yeah.
It might not have looked exactly like this. And the original thing when we met in February it was my understanding that you were going to take that, you were going to put it on some kind of sheet like this and take it to, you said you were going to take it to Cannleton and Tell City and Troy, and then present it to the county. And so that's what I was waiting on.
Well, I sent an email on that.
Because it was your proposal, and I don't want to present your proposal.
Right, and I sent that out, and Randy replied, kind of same thing you just said, and I thought, really, is it my place to go to Troy and Cannleton? Because it's really not, and I didn't want to go speak on behalf of the county, but you need to pay this. Well, Tell City Maritime, that's not really my role, I don't think, to go to another city or tell them what they should and shouldn't fund, since it's not really our responsibility to fund it. And that's kind of, after I thought about it, I thought, I don't want to be the one stepping on the county's toes and going talking.
Our contract is with the county.
Right. And that's true. Our contract is with the county, not with Cannleton and Troy. They don't pay us directly. They pay the county, and then they would distribute it back to us for those
So
expenses.
this falls back to on the representatives of the PSAP committee from Cannleton and Troy.
I wouldn't disagree with that, yeah.
And your proposal, taking it to them, you weren't telling them they had to do it. You were
Right.
trying to bring them along as well.
Well, I still.
Somebody needed
but I
to take
replied-
the reins here.
Right, and I replied back to that saying I wasn't going to do it. So that, to me, that's where the county should have, he said he didn't want to do it, he's changed his mind, and then somebody should have picked that back up.
I don't feel comfortable going and asking them, if they have questions for me, this is your proposal. So I think you need to present it because I'll know my proposal inside and out, but I don't know all the ins and outs of what your proposal, so that's why I didn't do it.
I'd be glad to go, if this is what we decide to work with, I'd be glad to go with the county, but I just don't want to go by myself then. How about that? I don't think that would be the right thing to do.
Can I take you back to Luke's proposal?
Yeah.
Okay. And it was a total of 951,400.
Right.
If I take Connie's numbers and back it out, projected for 12 months, we still have $80,371 over and above projected costs. If I back out Derek's numbers, which he presented, we'll have $103,404.61. Okay, granted, there's some things that may be coming along, but if we simply went back to this original agreement and everybody paid these amounts, we would have more. It appears to be substantially more than we need to pay this 911 service for 25.
It falls within the budget amount.
Well, you came to this agreement of 951,400 with these breakdowns here. And then I just take Connie's numbers, and all I did was take it divided by 8 times 12, took Derek's numbers, and backed it out of the 951, and one's at 80, one's at 103,000.
We never came to an agreement on the 951.
So we should just throw this agreement out.
No, it's a working document. It's not.
Okay, I'm
Because
just saying, but that's what you got.
if you look at
This was originally a framework that was followed up until 25, I think is what.
no, because
So the county did not follow it?
23, the budget was 951, 24, 951, 25, 9. It was less amounts even, and that wasn't even the budget. So I'm saying that was just a framework, that was kind of a copy paste for those years. They kept the budget up at 951. It was less than 951 in 23, and I don't remember what it was in 22 one year.
Well, the actual budget, according to this paper, and I think Steve put this together, in 23 was 710,000.
Exactly. We didn't follow the budget then. Because
Yeah,
that's
no,
the case, there's
But I
several.
think the county paid 544,000, and that's what they agreed to pay, and that's what they paid. So
Okay.
the county was following it, maybe no one else was.
Well, I mean, and I'm not, this, and we all know this is a county responsibility at the end of the day. This is something that I think most of us all would agree on, this expense does fall on the county. I mean, I don't want anybody to get misinterpreted.
Right,
But
their cities participate, I mean, it's just like Du Bois County.
How
You
much-
have 2 dispatch over there, you have city and you have county. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like it's cast in stone that the cities can't participate. I mean, it's not.
we
But it
participate.
is a county, yeah, we're not denying
Yeah.
that. But what we did here was, I think maybe the county misunderstood this, but we had a framework that I think everybody was trying to transition through the process. So the county picks up this responsibility without taking on the whole burden in 1 year.
And I think the county's made good faith efforts to go from 140 to 150,000 in payment all the way to where we're at, where we'll be over 650,000 when we
Yeah,
get that 19,000 additional. We'll be at this closer to 657. And I'm not saying we want to just hold there and say that's all we're ever going to pay. I think we want to continue to increase those efforts. That's why I'm going to speak for myself, wanted to do the edit modification because it was no extra burden on the taxpayer and it was an extra 150,000 towards dispatch and other things. But it was important to me that we continued to find ways to move things around and find money for that. So
And of course, at that time, you wouldn't have known that they were gonna change the edit stuff in 26,
no,
which
I
would have,
didn't know.
yeah, threw that whole thing back into a
Yeah.
whirly mess. I mean,
I
whether it happened or didn't, I mean, it may or may not have worked. We won't know that now at this point, but in the moving down, it would have,
Well, I guess my
put us
point
back.
is that I'm just trying to, you say it's a county responsibility. We are still trying to make good faith efforts to contribute more money. And that was the whole reason for the edit modification, not just the dispatch, but for the jail and the EMS as well. But that was another effort to try to get more money for this, to get closer to the full amount, quicker, That's how I saw it.
so, city council wise, I mean, we've got you 3 here, 2 of you couldn't make it. Thoughts to discussion. I mean, at the end of the day, the councils, I mean, I don't have a vote in this, and really the commissioners, maybe, I guess somehow do, I don't know how that works in your end, but
They haven't given us any money, Chris.
they haven't give you any money?
All we gotta do is sign contracts.
There.
If they don't fund them,
I don't.
contract's not worth a lot.
No. So,
That's how it works.
I mean, at this point, I think the councils could start having some more discussions and see where they want to go. I mean,
I just want everybody to know that this is not just something that tax dollars go on. It's not just dollars going here, going there. This is your safety. This is public safety.
Lives at stake.
Yeah, there's lives at stake. And it could be anybody's life. It saved my life. It saved my life.
you're exactly right.
And I appreciate it to the very end. I want everybody to remember that.
And, Tell City, regardless of how funding goes, as you can see, I mean, just because the full amounts weren't covered, we covered the bills to make sure the lights got paid and the dispatchers got paid because we believe the same thing. I mean, we really do. And that's what we're here to work out tonight and hopefully put this thing maybe somewhat to rest and then get ready for 26.
We really need to get a rain on this for 2026.
And I
It can
agree,
be
Somebody
on.
needs to get a little rain too.
I agree completely
Get these.
with all those statements and, there has been a good faith effort and everybody's part on this. There truly has. I think everybody has the best of intentions. It's just one of those things where, like with me, I just try to focus on actual cost. And, it would be negligent of me not to say that, that is what it's costing to do these things, and this is, we're all feeling the pressure right now. I see Connie's car at City Hall at late at night and on weekends trying to work magic with numbers and everything. It's just, we're all in a bad position. Everyone is.
Couldn't happen at a worse time either.
I appreciate you putting this together. I would like to see more detail on the other expenses. And that way you have a clear picture of what other expenses that,
We provide that every
because you
month.
should have that.
We provide that every month, all invoices
I
and
think he
receipts.
means, well, not just broad categories. We want
broke
he
down.
wants the bills. Like, he
Yeah.
wants to see what your
I
light
want-
bill is,
I want
and not just
details.
utilities is, whatever it is. Is that what you mean, Stan?
Yeah, I want details in just like, supplies, dispatch supplies, you have line items, then you had a subtotal of all these and what you actually had spent on those.
Yeah.
Which I will
provide
say,
that.
Connie's gotten better
Sure.
at
I know
that,
you-
because before, I don't think we got
I know you
that
just
much
do this
detail.
together. but
Yeah.
So
Right.
this
Agree
is the
with the
first
category.
year that we are actually billing on a monthly basis on what we spend each month.
So you're giving us the categories, which is helpful,
Yes,
but I think he just
yes,
wants a
and-
little further breakdown.
We,
Right, Stan?
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how we could give
It
you
breaks
any.
it, what she's presenting now, it breaks down, says trash can liners, paper copies, shirts for, 2 dispatchers, travel food, water, sewage trash, bills. I mean, other than actual copy of the invoice, it's got the amount there. And if you want a copy of the invoice, I'm sure Connie would be welcome to come by anytime or can get
I
it to
don't
you.
want the invoices, I want, I want the total, subtotal of these, what you spent on particular line items.
Yep, it's here. That's what we send every month.
Yeah.
You have that already.
Well, we provide this to the
I can
county
actually
auditor.
attach it, add it to that document.
And then she does forward it on, she said, so he
Okay,
is,
so yeah, he is
should
getting,
be
you
getting.
should be getting what you're asking. Just check. If you want
And it
something,
doesn't break down like overtime and all that kind of stuff. It's just
No,
salary.
no.
So if you want that kind of information.
But when I'm in a meeting like this, it would be helpful, because I don't go through all your PSAP invoice or whatever you send out and stuff. My head is exploding almost every day anymore because of this and all the other
Sure.
things I'm working on, so,
I would say I pay somebody else to do my taxes.
Well, I do appreciate this monthly
yeah,
thing that you give the breakdown.
that's good.
It's
Yeah.
helpful because we didn't get that before, so.
yeah, we're trying to show every transparent thing we can and do the best. I mean, It's a little extra work. I know maybe some county officer can be, but that's what you guys need. It helps you.
I don't think you could ever put a true and most accurate price tag on something like that, you know?
No.
Some of our officers are cross-trained, you know, and
Sure.
they may come in and cover for a half a shift or something,
Yeah.
you know, and their total pay comes out of the officer salary, you know? And
That's the only thing you can go by is history.
That's true,
You know. And sometimes you can't go by that.
We know that's
Because
all
you got-
part of having that. We
Yeah.
accept that, you know, understand that. So.
Well, as far as the dispatch goes, no matter how you get it all to come together, it's come out very good.
Well, thank you. I think we have the best dispatchers that we can possibly have. We got a great team. They're outstanding.
And I would like to say something. Someone called me today and was talking to me about, people were stirred up over, of course, a rumor. That is not true. That the county had already decided that we were gonna take over dispatch on
I heard
January
that at
1.
lunch.
I didn't know anything about it. I don't
Yeah.
think did anybody here know anything about that? Have we discussed that in a meeting?
You guys
or
must
at
have
some meeting?
sent
I
us a
mean, hey,
memo.
you know, but this just causes unnecessary drama and chaos. And it gets people like dispatchers who have to deal with this. You know, the dispatchers, this is their livelihood. We don't need to cause them to be upset for no reason. And whoever's doing that needs to stop because it's unprofessional, it's not productive. And I'm sorry, Renee, whoever is doing that or wherever that's coming from, I apologize because that has not been discussed here, okay? Well, I know, but I feel bad because that is not fair. And we do appreciate, or I appreciate what you do, is what I speak for myself. I've been in there several times. I know what you guys do and I'm appreciative of it.
So council, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think we need to build around this.
Okay.
Don't you think, Jeff?
Mhm.
Build around this, get the committee.
We need something more specific with regard to numbers, because
Yes.
that document really left it vague about what the numbers
Very
are.
vague.
That's why we're here, is that it didn't include the
You
numbers.
got your committee, let's get them dusted off the shelf and get them active again.
Phil's got the scheduling that meeting and he already scheduled it. I don't know the date.
Your thoughts, Kelly? I mean, I
I don't
think-
disagree. I think there's some,
We gotta
I'm not
have
in
a
charge
real-
of it. Y'all talk to the commissioners. They're in charge of the.
we gotta have
You have to start somewhere.
We gotta start
Somebody's get
somewhere.
hands on this thing.
And if this wasn't followed correctly or whatever, we need to get it straight.
It seems vague, a little vague.
For the city and the county and Council and Troy, we're good to
Yeah.
say.
For the most part, there's been a lot of the things followed in it and stuff. I mean, other than the dates, as far as the budget part, which, again, we probably should have asked the auditor and clerk the best
That'll
time for
have to
that.
change.
That's an easy clarification there, I mean, for the most part. And then, but a lot of it has been done in some way.
And you gotta understand on a fundamental level when you're talking about dates and stuff like that. When you have two parties to a contract, this is just basic legal theory. You have two parties to a contract, the parties themselves look at a date that's in a contract and it doesn't work. The parties can say that doesn't work, we're gonna meet on a different date. So we don't wanna get lost in the tall weeds on things like that. We gotta circle back to the numbers.
So as far as,
You don't, you're gonna be right back in here again.
but as far as the funding goes, council, what are your thoughts as far as, I mean, you've got some things that I put up there, you've got the I call it the worksheet or something, that was prepared, kind of budgeting around 951, 400, on that, and what we could contribute on that, and some of those numbers in that, who's contributing what, what if somebody doesn't contribute this much, or they contribute that much, then you're gonna get into a mess with it. I don't know. These were just numbers. I know Luke just didn't pull them out of the sky, but he does have a formula behind it. I just don't know those off the top of my head without reaching out to him.
And I think the overall could be adjusted if there's an increase in the 951 or whatever. I think it's we could look at what the percentages are or whatever across the board. But the other thing I'm concerned about is, and I don't know because I don't think I was elected at this time, but I always thought there was an interlocal agreement for these Troy and Cannleton and Tell City to pay their portions. Did you not have that before?
We used to have that, Kelly. That was something that I inherited and preparing those on behalf of the city. And it was, once this whole discussion started, it was recommended at that time. I don't know if it was through our attorney or what, but it was told that, since the county is responsible for dispatch services, we are contracted through them, you know,
Okay.
that's who we're in, you know, so we were told to no longer do interlocal agreements with the other entities. You know, the county is who we are providing this service in partnership with or through an interlocal agreement, so that's why that went away.
Okay, I thought I remembered that there was one.
And I tell you, that was always the worst part of the year for
Did
me,
in 23.
going around and asking these entities for extra money. That fell on me, and I'm so glad it doesn't anymore.
It really wasn't our responsibility because we're not the ones that's required to provide that service. And
So I'm allowed back in county.
Derek would do them, I would draft up the agreements, and it was not fun time.
Did you say we have the interlocal agreements for 23?
Okay.
Last year.
I knew I saw them before.
over, yeah,
And
because
for 23 for the 24 budget, but we did not have them for 24, page 25.
okay, because our local agreement renews every year unless it's
6 months.
6 months notice. Yeah, so I mean
We
that
had
one.
them in 23 for page 24.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
So that, I mean, that kind of works good. In some ways, those are good. In some ways, those can be bad.
Can I see that?
Yeah.
There was, I had a question.
Oh, I got one in my office.
I'll give that.
No, I've got it, Kelly.
I thought I brought it.
Yeah.
I have it too, but
So, I mean, the council's got to be thinking of a number
I
that,
have it. I have it.
that they're maybe willing to put in or whatever. And you can put some in now and then, I don't know. I mean, my thoughts were at least, at the minimum, I mean, this is for what it's worth, I definitely would like to see Tell City, Cannleton, and Troy contribute enough, at least to make the pie whole when it comes to the county public safety lit part. I definitely think that's a good start. And then past that,
The thing is, you can't assume it. You almost gotta have some signature saying, yeah, we will agree to do this. And that way, you know,
for this year. And we,
Yeah.
I mean, there, and that's,
Well, I don't think the Tell Cities Council can approve that tonight, but I think it's definitely gonna involve bringing Troy and Cannleton into that discussion, because they would be stakeholders, we can't speak for them, obviously.
Yeah. And then past that, you know, obviously the electric, water, and wastewater, they're putting in around 13,500. And then I'm just going up what I figured up. And again, may not be the best thing. I'm just trying to bring something to the table. I always feel there's a problem, bring something. If it doesn't work, that's okay. We met back in February on that for a while, and I thought it was a really good discussion we all had. I mean, everybody was pretty level-headed, and that's where we kind of come up with this option, at least. And, yeah. No, Chris, you weren't at that one. Yeah.
At that time, I didn't fully understand it. You were throwing out numbers and percentages.
I did, well, I think it's because I didn't know all the percent, I didn't know what the 12% or, well, 12.3% or whatever of the lit part was at that time. I didn't have that, backwards that out and get some numbers to figure that properly. Of course, you do have that additional 19 that will help some. I mean, $20,000 a month, it's
What about that?
oh yeah, 90-10 split, what? She just said that.
There's that 90-10 split that gets allocated each year to the county.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's possible that might have been set aside for radio.
I think so.
Okay.
I think, Steve
Yeah,
said,
in 24, the county,
I think he's got enough now to pay for them.
does he?
And I think there's already been
That was
discussion
it.
about getting quotes and stuff like that.
I've got it.
Yeah, we don't have the 90-10 split for 25 yet, or I didn't find it online, but I did find we're in 20 to the fall.
November, I think, and it's,
Okay.
and he said it's between 20 and 40,000 usually.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's what Steve said.
but it did show that in 24, the county received $37,472 for the 90-10 split, and then the year before was around 44, so it's hovering around 40,000 average roughly. There's one year, 2020, they got 61,000, maybe a good year or something.
I think it's just depends on what the state brings in with the,
It
plus
does.
with the cell phone.
Yeah, it does, and I did see something, and I know we've talked about working with some legislators to, I don't say increase
I've
that.
tried.
Well, they actually have this is something I found where they actually, I know it's not much, but they can increase it from $1 to $1.10. And
They
it's,
can do 10%.
it's already 10 cents. I know it's like, you consider how much is that really gonna bring in? I didn't have a way to figure that back yet, but
It's 10 cents you ain't got.
exactly. But the state 911 board has the power to do that right now. This was Mark Messmer, back when he was in, as a representative in the Senate, approved all that. It's a bipartisan support and signed by Governor Holcomb, and no one's, not you guys, but
Yeah,
state.
I can show you emails where I've talked to the state multiple times about that.
And I believe you
I've had
have. I
phone conversations about that.
I don't doubt
I've
it.
tried to find other ways to get more money to help the situation.
This is how much we're showing.
And so I,
Recently,
yeah, well, I believe you. I know we both agreed 100% on that. I just saw that and I was doing a little research and thought,
they can do 10%.
they could have already done that for a while now, back, what year was that approved? 20, up until June 30th of 2026, they can do it without any extensions on it.
I don't think they're going to.
So
They may
Don't
not.
bank on it.
just to make you aware, and Derek, I'm gonna use you, our radios in the system are past their service life.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Motorola's, 700,000 or 800,000 we're looking at, and a cheaper alternative between 4 and 5.
Yep.
So that expense will be burdened to the county.
Yeah.
When that happens, so and it's gonna have to happen, so just be aware of that.
That's correct, yes.
Was there something that was paid off in 24 or 25 that they used to pay on that freed up any extra money of the state 911 funds, like a,
Have that.
like a console, or
What?
it was like almost like $100,000 payment, or maybe it wasn't that much.
Oh, this?
It was the whole 911
The
system.
whole 911 system, it's paid off. And
He would have been here, but he had to.
Who?
Steve, but he
Oh.
had a different obligation. already,
that's
so.
okay. But I thought that was paid off, so there, would that money be somewhere that could be applied towards this then, if it was paid off and you didn't have a payment to make? Where would that
I don't know what it is, what you're talking about.
Who's probably paying for that?
There was an equipment
911,
bond for that.
Bond, it was with the
1232.
SBC. It was through the phone company for the 911 equipment, and it was a large
Obviously
payment that was made at the bank each month, and that
But it was like 100,000 a year probably?
probably.
And if that was
yes.
paid off in 24, 25, whatever, is that money an option to go towards this then, if you don't have that payment to make?
I think we still pay a substantial bill to AT&T.
I'm trying to make it.
Oh, we can find out.
It's just, I'm looking at, hey, I'm trying to find every
And they
dollar I
may
can
have
for you
to have
guys.
some new equipment or something.
Well, they're gonna have to, obviously, that
That
may
equipment's
have been
gonna
paid
to
off, but now it's gotta be replaced. So, you may have that 1 year you didn't
I think
pay
the equipment replacement is a higher priority
That's not
thing right now.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no warranty or anything, any protection on that equipment out there, and you know, we've had a lightning strike before, so.
36,000.
It's,
Similar to what we found with the ambulance service, past its service life, and then if you wanna fix it.
Yeah.
So parts are available.
And that's why we were trying to be a good steward of money and cancel that maintenance fee, because really, you know, it didn't cover any, it only recovered repairs, and there's no way to repair that stuff. So-
Okay, I have the information here from Steve that he gave me, but it was buried in this document, and it says, you were asking about that fund. It's talking about the 90-10 split, and it says the 90-10 fund amount will be determined by the statewide 911 board in October, November of 2025. For the past years, this amount averages 20 to 40,000. Potential, there could be around 314,000 available towards the purchase of a new radio system for 911 dispatch. We're ready to move forward with the radio system upgrade at this time. The goal would be to get it installed before the end of 25. Does that sound familiar?
Yep, that was the conversation Steve had with Phil and I.
Okay.
So let's get back to the point. According to Connie's figures, we're in the red, gonna be in the red on dispatch. The county's committed there, so the rest of it tells us it's gotta eat.
If you look back, and I don't know, I'm just looking back at the old framework.
I just don't know what she's got right here.
Okay, so.
We're in the hole, $157,000 through the month of August or July.
Is Tell City gonna recognize the framework established 3, 4, 5 years ago?
Well, Connie just
Something
showed,
to follow?
me something here. Her framework shows it's 208 and here's 212. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm confused. I don't know where yours,
So I mean,
I don't know who has the right one at this point now.
Well, that's still 200,000.
I have 212, but she was
we
208.
can't get together and decide this is what happens. Yeah. Bottom line, you know, mayor sends out this, or Randy sends out something, we gotta get together and figure this out.
That's why you need a PSAP board.
Well, apparently somebody besides us and you all people dropped the ball. So I'm just going by what she said. We're in the hole.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this.
I mean, I think Tell
As a
City's been
breakdown.
kind of following along
So,
with
you
this
know,
because
how
we've
we
been
gonna
paying.
solve it? Or can we solve it?
I mean,
I wasn't there for that.
I wasn't there either.
I wasn't
And
there
all I know is as we went through, the county has picked up a larger share every year. And that's how this thing was set up, that the county picks up a larger share every year. And we're pretty much on target with what expectations are for the county. But the others, obviously, that's where the shortfall comes
But
in.
what was that framework? Those numbers were based off a
950.
projected operating costs, right?
Yeah, well,
I did
he
some
basically
math.
used 951,000
I don't know.
On
for
this
like the last 3 years.
framework that we've got,
But we didn't run that high.
just on these old numbers, it looks like the county with all our line items, county's paying 73% of that. If you take Chris's budget from this paper, you look at the county, our 73% of that is $714,141. If you take our budgeted amount and the additional that we can appropriate from the PSAP lit plus the supplemental lit,
36.
the county is only short $24,426, which we can likely find on our books, but we can't proceed unless we know what the city is going to do. If they're going to honor the same type of agreement, their percentage of, I didn't figure out how much you would owe, but you pay 58% of, no, you don't, I lied. Sorry, that was.
Was there an agreement signed? I don't think there was it?
That's what I'm saying, that's why I said we have to know what the city's gonna do before we
Yeah.
can proceed.
Now I found a 208 in my folder.
And see, you've got your actual cost, according to this paper, and I'm basing off somebody else's numbers. The cost for 24 was 842,949. So substantially less than 25 estimate. So
No,
I don't know where you're gonna end
I found
up.
it at 208 now, like in my folder. I don't know where that's coming from. Connie, you surprised me on that one. I know we're talking a few $1,000s, but still, I'm like, well, what's out there? That's not, I think that's where it wasn't necessarily agreed on that number in some ways. Maybe that's part of that problem there that we're all talking about.
You know, if Tell City if we get an agreement, if we get the say so from Tell City what they're gonna pay or not, we still have to worry about Troy, we still have to worry about county. We've still got 2 more cities.
First, we have to find out how much we can wring out of them before we can
See, I know where you're going with that.
have Gail, because he's like an 86 graduate of Hamilton. And he could maybe talk to him about,
We got a chief of police from county.
They won't let him back.
it was 86.
They won't talk to me. I don't
They don't talk to the chief either.
We're on our own people.
I've tried the mayoral stuff, so it's not me.
Well, I mean, if they won't talk to anybody, I mean, if someone, I'll be glad to go as a joint with. I just don't want to go to by myself. It's just
I sent Derek with you.
He will go with you. He's from Bucktown.
It's okay. I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know if being from there's gonna pull much strings. But, so I mean, I don't
I'm
know.
not scared to go. I just
No, I-
think I didn't think it would be helpful.
Swearing.
So what do you, what's,
Good
what
morning.
I had 212 on that one, you had 208. I know we're talking just $4,000, but what, I mean.
Does yours say counter at the top? Because there was a counter proposal.
Well, there,
that
just,
I might
yeah,
have
there's,
to
that
do.
says counter, does your two say counter?
Yeah.
Counter offer continued on her, so I mean. That blows, that just,
And there's no date on it, so.
and
In my
I-
email, that's the last one that I had.
Yeah.
Was the 212.
maybe they got missed around, I don't know, I mean, it's only $4,000, it's not that's our biggest problem tonight, then we're good, but it just makes me wonder if there's anything else out there that's not gonna line up maybe, but I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, like still, like we've all agreed, it's technically not the city's responsibility, but it's whatever the council so chooses that they can contribute or willing to contribute is gonna be what it's gonna be in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Explain it that way. Yes. Connie's gonna, let Connie explain this, maybe this might help.
If you go with the proposal that was being looked at from 2005 from Luke, when Luke prepared that.
2005?
I mean, 2025, sorry. I'm trying to think how I want to say this. 2025, we're going with the one page with the 212,000 that the city would contribute. So far this year, means we have contributed 157,256. So if you subtract that, we would still owe 57,744 towards that 212,000.
You say that one
Correct.
more time.
That is correct, and then the county's gonna be paying however many payments we have left this year.
Then
It's all
How
you're,
right.
many dollars?
you're gonna have to pay us the rest of that to get us, so that, to get it whole, so we're not paying any more than 212,000.
Okay, I think you said you were 157 in the hole through August.
157,256 through July.
Okay,
So
and then, and then you had another number here was through August, so
I just.
that was,
that was the actual budget that I did, yes.
That's what we
Yes.
have left to pay, because there's August, September, October.
so see, how much do we pay monthly, Chris?
$52,838.31. So we'd have 264, 191.55 left appropriated. Then you can, plus that 19,553 and the 36,207
If the
supplemental,
council approves.
if the council approves to pay that. But as far as what's already budgeted, we have 264,191.55 left to pay out the remainder of 25.
Because we did the equal payments. Connie, did you say there's gonna be a couple months coming up or a month that's gonna be higher for some
The
reason?
1 month will have 3 payrolls.
Okay,
So it will compare close to, in May, we had 3 payrolls.
I saw one was,
Was
Quite a bit higher.
111,000 in May with 3 payrolls.
Now, that last payment, because we divvy it out, it's gonna have a couple more cents, because like, if we divide that out of the general, if you take that times 12, and the last month, I always
Right. It's
zero out,
adjusted then,
adjust the
yes.
appropriation, so it's like, a lot of those are 92 cents, so they're gonna add additional 8 cents and whatever, so.
So the county's gonna have to come up with another, if you do the $1 million, that's what it's at now, over, they're gonna have to come up with another 174,000 on
Wait a
top
minute.
of what they're already
Can I
paying.
go through this, man?
Yeah.
Chris, you said 264,191.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Connie, if she says to get them to 212, they would have to contribute $55,037, correct?
Correct.
Because they've already put 157 in.
157, right?
That leaves us 319,228. $79,807 per month. And I divided, I think, by 4. I'm not sure exactly whether we're into September, October. November.
we haven't paid off
We haven't paid
August,
August yet.
so it's 5.
You have
we
paid
just got
all, so it
August
has to be
yesterday.
5, so I'm off just slightly.
Yeah, we just got
So-
August.
I mean, you're running close. What's an average bill?
In the 70s.
68, 69.
Okay,
Besides the 1 month.
So we're right there, and that's,
The one is like 110 or something.
It was 111, so.
We got a 111, we got a 76, it's the 2 biggest, and a 70.
That's why I say average about 70.
so you're right there.
In this agreement on section 3, it says maintenance of dispatch center and expenses, reserve funds, dispatch center, budgeted but unspent funds remaining that are available for transfer to other uses will be used to first pay for any shortfalls in the approved dispatch budget. Any shortfalls with insufficient reserve funds to cover them shall be approved by the city and county in accordance with Article 2, Section 2 of this agreement. The city will initially provide all funds to address the shortfall, with the county reimbursing the city as provided below. The city shall report any shortfalls to the county council. The report shall also be reviewed by the advisory committee prior to expenses being paid.
And I think Steve provided a breakdown of that, but I think there's, again, a disconnect on what's a shortfall. Because his interpretation is, if we're going by the funding framework, Tell City should have been paying this, but really you paid less than those things. and the county has stayed close to being on board with where the funding framework is, so there should be a reserve. But I don't think the city sees it that way, so. I wouldn't. If I understand that, is that what you understand? Is that what you understand
That's the way that Steve was interpreting it.
in the contract?
Correct.
So,
So Chris, in 24, did Hamilton and Troy pay their full amount as,
Nope.
they did not, okay.
I'll think.
23 is the last time.
I
Okay.
No, they paid half. Didn't they do half one year? Here, I can look. Wait a minute. I
don't
can
think
look.
they did either.
Let me look at my interlocal agreement fund, because I've got it. There was one year that,
Now, I will say again that one member of the Troy Town Board did reach out and say that they would entertain, they want to help. They don't want to be non-participants or whatever, but, so, I mean, that was encouraging.
It is.
But I feel like that, I will say that if the county knew that they weren't paying, they should have addressed that. That's my opinion of it. That was the agreement, and if they knew that they were supposed to pay, then I think they should have been asked to pay, especially when Tell City was continuing to contribute. That's just my opinion.
Tell City.
Like anything else, there's no teeth in the agreement.
I mean, well, what are you gonna do? Cut them off dispatch? You can't. I mean,
No, you
it's,
can't.
I mean, it wouldn't, that would be a bad thing to do. I mean, I think.
No,
It was news for me that.
What?
just go ahead and say, no, you're just kidding.
Oh, no, I didn't say
Not gonna
that.
happen.
Yeah, no, not gonna
Make
happen.
sure.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
what? I was like, no. then
Things
that
get
would be
out
a thing
there
you
that are
wouldn't do.
misinterpreted.
Oh, I know. Words are always.
We don't need that.
No, just to be clear, dispatch services, regardless of this funding, will continue as they've always with no disruption.
That's
I mean,
right.
I can assure you of that, and I think we all can.
Oh, yeah.
So don't let anybody twist those words around, because
I think it's important to say.
I won't, Derek and I have to go there and answer calls, we'll make it work. No, we don't do that. But, we'll make it work, because it is important. I mean, if there's ever a point where there's any changes in how it's, done or who's doing it, we'll have a good so many year plan to make that transition smooth as can be. But I think at this point, that's something that's not even discussed or needed. So city's provided outstanding service, and I think the county would totally agree with that. And
I've not heard any complaints.
yeah, so I mean,
So
there would be no need to build something and move something. So we hope people don't continue that rumor mill that they're boxing up tomorrow morning, because it's not true. That's fake news.
it's very unfortunate.
It is. Yeah, I heard.
It causes chaos in the community, and
told that
it's
today.
just completely unnecessary.
That's the first I've heard of it was today, because I thought that rumor mill had died down years ago, and then today I heard about, you're kidding.
People keep blowing their mouths off and don't know what they're talking about.
Well,
okay, we received a total of, in 23, we received 6,000 from Cannleton. No, in 23, 3,000 from Troy, 3,000 from Troy, and on May 17th of 2023. They paid half. We received 12,500 in May of 23, and that would be from Cannleton.
Cannleton.
And then in March 15th of 2024, we received 3,000 from Troy, and then on April 16th of 2024, we received 12,500
from Cannleton.
from Cannleton.
So this is the first year they haven't paid anything.
So they paid on average, Cannleton, what they paid total in 23? Is it 6 or 12? You read off.
Sorry, I thought there were two together.
6, 12, 5,
Yeah.
somewhere in that. Okay.
Yeah, 3,000 from Troy, both years, 3,000 from Troy, and 12,500
So-
from Cannleton.
They've been paying less than, well, Troy's half, but Cannleton's paid less than half even, every year. And, Tell Cities on those years have paid what, most of it. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm not gonna, I know there's discrepancies there.
No.
There's discrepancies there. So,
That's why they went to half, because that 1 year Tell City went half, so then they went to half.
Yes, I remember that, the hat.
That's
the
why,
hat.
that's why they started.
And then they
Yeah,
said,
what else?
is that where it came from this year, 0? If you said you're gonna pay 0, they said
That's
they're
what I
gonna pay
heard
0.
from Steve Hauser, was that there was 0 from Tell City, so Cannleton.
well, and I'm sure they did see our meeting where it was
Yeah.
0 was stated, and that's probably where they said, well, at this point, we'll do 0. But I'm sure if something changes,
Now the sum's different.
they, like Kelly had mentioned, she had a discussion, so that's
Yeah.
positive, I think.
Yeah.
In a good direction.
And that person reached out to me on their own.
That was good.
I didn't call them and ask.
It was good. Okay,
They felt comfortable.
all right, council, you're all kind of quiet sometimes. I'm tired of
I'm
talking.
just trying to figure out. If we're short, I guess Tell City's gonna pay it. What you're telling me.
I didn't
You
hear
gotta
that.
figure out, you gotta figure out how much Accountant and Troy's gonna pay.
Well,
Get your magic ball out.
I think that until
I'm
city
gonna have
steps
one.
up, our expectations is that Troy and county will step up.
Okay,
Along with the water department, electric department.
yeah,
And they are paying.
they're already good.
Pay it.
Those are
And
sealed
we're
and
covering
signed.
the county's
Right, so
hospital
that-
portion.
You know, that's kind of the framework. Now, it does nothing for 26, but 25 is your crucial one.
So let me ask
You've
this,
got to initiate 26.
and you guys can tell me if it's a dumb idea or not. I don't care. So go back to what I kind of proposed. If each entity, again, pays that lit part, you know, Tell City, Troy, and Cannleton, that percent, that's something that they're all feel like they're at least paying their fair share. You know, it's not like they're paying this much and that, they're paying 12%, they're paying 15%. Because somebody could argue all that in that whole thing. Is that, if we do that, that gets us literally 243,000 shy, and then that's with Tell City, Troy, and Cannleton, and Perry County contributing more money up to the full budgeted amount. That would be Tell City contributing another 63, well, we'll say 64,000, Cannleton about 13,000, and Troy 3, and the county another 164,000. Is that something the county can come up with, is another 164 to make it that basically $1 million budget?
For 25?
Huh?
So you're wanting us to come up with 164,000 additional funding for 20?
Someone's gonna have to.
well, that's the rest of that count per month.
That's the whole, I mean, that's total for the year, you've, not, it's, well, I
We're
mean,
gonna pay 200 and whatever Chris said, 264,191 yet this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
would that be an additional, but I mean,
that's what we committed to already. to make
So what happens if-
HR
Out of the 630.
but you're even if everybody, if we go by this framework, let's hypothetically say we do in this case, that was set out for the 25 one here, the 951, you're still gonna be short for the year. Who's gonna,
Not
Huh?
very much.
No. If Connie stays on budget, she's gonna be at 871. That is 80,000 underneath that amount. If you follow with Derek's, you're gonna be 103 underneath that 951.
I'll
Now-
go back and, I understand what you're saying, I'll have to go back and do some refiguring. Well, Derek's don't include it, Derek's just flat salaries.
Okay, so we got $103,000. Is Derek off 103,000? I don't think so. So we'll get there.
Hers is based off of.
Hers includes utilities, hers includes
Yeah.
Insurance.
other stuff.
Right, it's an extra 30 grand.
No.
More than that.
It's a lot more than that, Randy.
Well, how did I come up with what I did? Maybe I'm completely
Well,
off.
because some of our expenses haven't been paid yet.
Okay, so you've
Some
got
of our-
accrued expenses that you're carrying for an entire year? Because you told me 580,686 through 8 months was your costs.
Correct.
So then I took that number, divided it by 8 to get a monthly basis. Took it times 12 month and it comes into 851,029, projecting 8 months costs into 12 months. Now, if you've got something really big hanging out there that we're unaware of, that's gonna push you in excess of $80,000 additional money, then the 951 will have a problem. But if you don't,
I
We should be fair.
do, because we're gonna have additional money that's gonna have to be spent on health insurance.
well, Derek's using a health insurance number of 183. So you're saying that's gonna go up another 35,000?
No, I only budgeted 155. Are you following him that you can, I'm not following what you're
Not yet, but
doing.
I understand some of the things you saw, but I just gotta go.
All I'm
you're
doing is
taking-
taking your current
Yeah,
first
but it
8
changes
months.
every month, Randy. We don't know what next month's
Right.
expenses are.
Yeah, I know, but
I
all
can't
you
go
can do
tell you what
is
September, October, November, might have $100,000 a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're averaging it out. Yes, it works that way if you average it out.
but
but it don't work that way.
I guess what I'm saying,
General consensus, when you do a payroll in the city of Tell City, is pretty consistent. Now, when you give them a pay raise the first of the year, whenever you do it, then it will go up. Now, your variables usually are things like utilities, or some of these things that because it's hot, because it's cold, because it's this, so those, but they're not huge swings. So if you're gonna do any, it's a statistics class thing, if you're gonna do any projection, you're gonna base it upon past performance. Now, if there's an outlying thing that you're gonna pay some enormous expense, like the county will have to pony up $500,000 for radios, that's kind of an outlier that's gonna cost us a lot of money. But unless you have something identified, it's the only way, and I'm not saying this is exactly down to the last $2, but it should be in the range where you're at, and you have a cushion built in at $951. I mean, you have cost less than all these budgeters, what you used in this thing that Luke put together. I mean, you've always came in underneath it. So, I'm just saying, project it out, you should be.
anything over this, okay, it's a council approves, say they're gonna pay the 112,000. All right, we pay 112
112,
or 212. I tried, sorry.
I know.
The 212,
Nice try.
I know, I tried, I'm sorry. The 212, we pay that, Councilman gets 27,000, Troy gets 6,000, and down the line it goes. And it comes at, that's a 951, it comes in at 1,051,051, 100,000 more than what was in that number. Is the county gonna pick up that bill, come back to Tell City, Troy, and Council, hey, we need more money?
so in other words, if you say in the next 4 months, you're gonna overshoot Connie's operation amount, she says, by upward to $150,000 to $200,000, that we're just gonna arbitrarily accept that as okay?
Well, no,
I'd say we'd have to have some documentation, because
well, of
it
course.
seems like an awful huge amount of money that would occur in the last 4 months of 2025.
I mean, she just wrote down up here, the budget was $1,021,021 is what the new budget is with that insurance added and the additionals for the utilities. That's where I kind of come up with that number. And it's only, by doing that, that's 30,000 off, and
So-
$1 million number come from?
that's what she just talked about. And it's on this, oh, you don't have that paper, I'm sorry.
They do not have the paper.
But see, if I'm using a projection, she's at 871. So that means if it hits $1 million, we're $130,000 higher than what you've averaged your expenses in the past 6 months. So that would mean what, 130 divided by 4 or 12 is gonna be $30,000 extra. You're gonna be incurring $30,000 each month addition for the next 4 months of 2025
To get up to that million?
to get to the million.
Don't know.
Over and above.
We don't know.
Woo, boy, how can you budget if you don't know something like that? I mean, if you,
Well, we budgeted, we're in the red. We had no signed agreement with the county. So here we are. I mean, we can throw figures all day.
But anything above the 212 that we would contribute, would the county take that on? I mean, keep in mind, I know that the police department and Phil and all of them, they're not just gonna go start writing checks and buying this and buying that. They have proven that they've cut costs in every way they can. I mean, I don't think they could really cut costs hardly anymore without going just to one dispatcher out there, and that's not gonna happen. So, I mean, I don't think you're gonna see any exorbitant number, but if it would be over that, is that an expense the county you think would be willing to cover?
I think that's what the council has to make the decisions on whether they would have funding. But I would think they would want to consider the expenses associated. If you pierce those numbers, class 212, your contribution, and give them a heads up going into it so they see the train has pulled out and headed towards the county, rather than being surprised at the end of the year and say, we need an extra $100,000. I'm speaking for them, and I'm not a councilman, but I'm just saying,
Right.
if they're aware of it, because the numbers that, how it's fallen in line for this year, unless there's a really outlier somewhere, it should not be an issue. And to say, openly say, well, we'll pay whatever. Now we get into this interpretation, what does whatever mean?
And maybe $10,000, I don't, and I hope that's it. That's it. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I don't know that these guys, I mean, they're trying to,
We're all trying, Randy.
I know,
We are, I mean, we've got a responsibility to our residents too, to,
Just as we.
for the services and, you know, what money we get, and that's what we're
Lisa's gonna get mad, there's too many conversations.
trying to do. Lisa, she's got all that written down back here.
I gotta do minutes, and there's too many conversations, so you're gonna be able to hear what you guys are saying. Sorry.
Good.
Thank
Put
God
that
it's
in the
recorded.
minutes too.
There, I will.
Insert yourself.
Boy.
Thank
So
you. Appreciate it very much.
where are we at from here, I guess? What's the next step that the council want to do?
Confirmed that there's going to be a shortfall.
Be a what?
Have we confirmed that there is going to be a shortfall? Because I'm convinced of it.
I need to go back and look and see, refigure some things that Randy said. I just need,
It depends whether we get the contributions that were proposed. If we don't get the contributions, then we're not gonna have $951,000. The county's putting in about $650. If the county's the only contributor, no one else is contributing, we're gonna be short money. There's no question about it, because you can't run it for $650,000.
no.
But according to the framework before, everybody was gonna contribute, that would get us to our $950.
And you know, if there's questions about operating costs too, you know, one other thing I did today is I did a little research on that. I just didn't have time to put it all together for you, but I'll email it to you. But Spencer County, for example, they just released their proposal for 2026. Their operating cost is right around $900,000 for 2026 to operate their 911 center. So just to kind of give you an idea, you know, that
I'm probably similar staffed is what you.
similar staffed, you know, and that accounts for their supervision and everything, you know, so.
Can't leave.
I don't think our operating costs are astronomical,
I go to another
you
meeting.
know, so.
I have to be there.
So do we want to take these numbers back and just think about it? I mean, I would like to have a kind of a somewhat of an answer, and I think we all would, but I think we also understand we want to go back and digest this just a little bit and see what we can do. And I don't know how we want to handle the other two community, or Troy and Cannleton, and I don't know.
Why don't we come together with another meeting in about 2 weeks? Give us about 2 weeks.
Well, we got to have our 26 budget stuff soon too. That's all I'm worried about.
We gotta get Cannleton and Troy in here.
20, yeah, we do. 26 is going to be the big one because there is no framework for it. I mean, that was kind of almost like the cutoff, if you want to call that was kind of the cutoff. And that's where
26 is a new.
that's a new, yeah, and that would be the county 100% covering that cost if this is gone at that point. It's expired, it's done, if that's what we decide to do. And they need that for their budget. You guys have done a good job. I will tell you that, trying to cut. I applaud you all.
We only have 2.3 million to cut, but
Yeah, that's so small. I'm being sarcastic. I know, and we all do, and it's not easy. There's gonna be some tough decisions. I know, especially with raises, that's gonna be the big one for everyone. I assure you that.
I feel confident that the people in this room can work together on talking about the 2026 to see what that looks like, and keeping in mind that we don't want to raise any anxiety for the dispatchers. You know,
Correct.
We all want to do this for them and make this work where everybody's comfortable and happy with. So.
I agree. It's no anxiety for those because they will have a job. They will continue to work for us. There's no plans for boxing it up, moving it. They show up at work just like they have for the last so many years they've been there.
Does that mean the city's gonna pay for it then?
No.
26 program, thanks, Chris.
No, not
Where
that.
magic. That'll help us in our budget. I appreciate that.
I bet it would. Wouldn't help us very well. We'd have to start laying off. Derek have to start working, you know, for dispatch. Get Brian in there, he can dispatch. But no.
I mean, we do
Yes.
have, you know, in good faith, we do have that 19,000.
That's what we
She
Connie
said,
just said
that we
that.
have.
So that's
Okay.
good.
And the 36.
And the
So-
36.
What's
okay.
the 36 part?
That's their supplemental that they received.
36.
I don't know what,
36,000.
36,207.
That's a big help actually,
102, but yeah.
because, okay,
207, I'm not sure.
so 30,
so the So the county is going to appropriate
I
that,
read it. Oh, look, I.
that our monthly figure that we will receive from the county will be larger.
So Chris, what is that 36?
Well, I
Thirty-six,
mean-
one oh two.
We'd have to, the council would have to agree on
I
that,
would say-
but.
Right, and
No,
I know you have
that
to
is-
advertise,
that is
I
the
know you
purpose.
have to advertise it and all of that.
But that is the purpose of this money, in good faith, I think that that is okay, I'm okay with that, but that's the 19,000, because when we were budgeting, we expected 19,000 less, we got 19,000 more.
Well, we got, in 2024, we had 3,000, just as different, same as that. We put 340, we got 345,000 and some change, and we put 340, because you just estimate, and you don't get the numbers soon enough for by the time you print everything out. And, we already entered our budget, and as you know, you can't go up, you can only go down,
But I mean,
so.
in good faith, I'm okay with that 19,000 that we got extra towards this, to go towards that, because that's the whole purpose of it. It's not for us to just keep. And then the PSAP, I don't know, I'm just one.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for myself, I don't know what you guys think, but the PSAP distribution in May, the supplemental was 36,102. So if you add those together, it's 55,000 extra.
But Kelly, is that 100% dedicated?
Yeah, that's,
PSAP?
dedicated.
36,000?
Yep, PSAP, it's our distribution for the supplemental, which that is
Because I know
the
that's
purpose of that.
Also split. Some of it is.
Yeah, but not that
Some
one.
of it's dedicated. some
Yeah,
of it's-
this is our,
36 is dedicated.
yeah, that's correct. This is the full 36,102 is for that intended purpose. So I think that that's only fair that it goes towards that. So
Is there, I didn't check your all's budget to see if this is,
that's just me.
how much is there for this, but
Okay.
in this year, the 25 budget, the county was contributing, or the state 911 funds, 173,000, roughly, we'll say. And then obviously we get more than that, but I know you take a portion of that for other things. How's that budget looking on that end? Is it?
I
Yeah.
wish Steve was here because he.
Yeah, I know.
keeps
Well,
track of that.
so,
I think it's good.
Do you have any thoughts on it, Stan, or?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, where should?
That's where I think she goes.
Hey, Brad. Sorry. You're in trouble by her, by the way. So the 19,000 that we received extra, because we only budgeted a certain amount, we were under 19,000 what we received. That portion, and then the PSAP distribution supplemental 36,102 that we received in May. What do you feel about those two things going towards the
Absolutely.
55,102? So,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, we can't, decide that today, like you said, but I think that's again, another good faith effort that we're trying to do.
it's coins in the bucket that we're gonna need. Either if it's over or not, or that may be what we need just to, if it's over that budget a little bit,
Yeah.
that may be what we need.
Mhm.
Oh, great.
That's what it is.
I'd like to, redo some of these.
Let us do some refiguring. Is there, while we got most of the council here, is there a good time either next week or the week after that we can maybe do another joint one?
Not a budget sessions week, please.
Is that when your budget session week
It's the
is?
16th, 17th.
Oh, so you want to do it then? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm being
I've
sarcastic.
already got a commissioners meeting that night.
I'm being
Not gonna be good.
sarcastic. Well, I mean, is next week, is that bad? I mean, is it too soon? I know, I mean,
We
Connie,
need to get 25 hashed out because we need to get on to 26.
I know, and that's,
before
I'm
you-
not trying to, I'm being a little aggressive, but I'm trying to get something done.
I'm okay with next week.
Next week could be all right.
Is a week from,
Are you guys
Somebody
okay
gonna
next
be
week?
able to talk to Hamilton and Troy?
When next?
Or are you gonna invite
It's
them?
not gonna be,
It's not
that's not
gonna
gonna be
It's
in the
not gonna
last
do it.
minute.
Oh, we don't know what they're gonna do.
I tell you what if we invited Hamilton and Troy to that meeting? That's way no one feels like they're going on a limb by themselves. That
As long
seems
as
fair.
We're careful not to make them feel like they're ambushed when they show up.
No, they shouldn't be in.
No, they.
We want to
they
be a
haven't-
part of this,
They haven't
not,
paid,
not,
so they shouldn't be.
I think having it here is a good,
Yeah.
it's not that the
not
courthouse isn't
point
great.
fingers.
but
This
we
isn't
can
gonna be a
roundtable
basket.
discussion.
I like being able to look at the person across the room.
I agree. So it's like a week from today, a bad idea?
So we have I forgot this. We have a department head meeting on the 10th and on the 11th, the first reading of the budget, so it have to be Monday or Tuesday,
Okay,
unless you and I got what you guys have.
we've got a meeting Wednesday night, so Tuesday looks like it's so far the best day for,
Tuesday, September 9th.
Are you gonna accomplish anything in a couple of days?
well, yeah, we're gonna be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Randy, come on by. We'll be, Connie and I'll be sitting there burning the midnight oil and running our ad machines.
I'll be grilling burgers too, Randy, so there
Yeah.
we go.
Bring
Yeah.
them to the meeting.
He'll bring his supper.
Burning midnight oil.
That's right. So the 9th at the same time, same place? Because we gotta get advertised, because it's like 48
Let me
hours.
check with,
Supposed to notice.
Steve, he does the booking of this room, I'm sure we can do it, and I'll send an email out, I'll let everybody
We'll get
know
it
by
advertised. Do some,
early tomorrow morning,
he wants to call Troy or County and see if they can make it. I don't know, when are their normal meetings? I'm sorry, I don't know that.
I have it at home, I think Mondays.
Okay, I just don't wanna, I wanna make sure we can get one or both would be great. Okay. So a week from not a week, but the 9th, okay.
You guys are talking numbers. I don't have much to add to that.
You do too.
I don't want to be an extra chair filled if I don't have to be.
No, we're gonna
So,
need all the chairs we can get here, because
I-
it looks like we don't have a lot of space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're missing 2 councilmen.
She can sit back there, she said.
It was the ninth.
She offered to pay, I didn't.
Yeah, the 9th at 5 PM, I'll
Put
mark
that
it.
on record.
I'm certainly happy to be on call. You have a legal question, I'm happy to answer it. I just,
I'll mark it
I don't want to
tentative.
confuse everybody
Yeah,
about why is our attorney here?
Gerald, does that work?
And another
Mike, does
thing,
that
it
work for
feels
you?
like, you know, you don't want, you might feel like
Oh,
there's.
9
lots
by 5
of
o'clock,
issues.
same
No, I
place.
don't.
We'll let you know for sure,
And I
but
have-
that's.
Absolutely.
That on
Yeah, I
there.
got a copy.
I have it, but I like to have it again.
I'm pretty sure Golfnet drafted it, so I've got it in my office.
Yeah.
5 o'clock. So just, I guess tentatively
I'll send an email.
pencil
Does
that in
work?
and we'll
Does
find
that
out.
work for everybody, 5 o'clock Tuesday?
Just for me.
That's the ninth.
Might as well make another meeting.
Make a meeting.
9th, 10th, and 11th.
And then, well, once we get that figured out, we gotta start on 26 rather quickly. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's the scary thing.
Oh, I thought that's what we're doing, that and.
Well, we can do both. We just gotta get 25 wrapped up and then go into 26, if we have time.
Well, the next week we have to plan for it. so.
I know, so let's
Well,
hope
there's
we,
not gonna, I mean, the budgets are already in, so, I mean, you can do your agreement and everything, but you'll have to do an additional in
I know,
March.
but we have to.
We still need-
We need a
Okay.
serious consideration of what this is gonna look like.
we do. Maybe we can start on it then and just, we gotta do
Is that
additional,
okay?
we have to do additionals. I mean, that's,
Brad, does it work for you?
How about the ninth? Yeah.
At 5? Randy?
Brian's bringing burgers.
I got stuff going on before I get here. so I can't-
Hook them outside and pass them the window like this. Everybody show up then.
Razzle dazzle.
All right, guys.
All right.
That's the 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Paul may be back for this.
Razzle dazzle.
So real quick, are we ready to kind of adjourn?
Yeah.
Good night.
I mean, is there anything else today? Or
I'll let them adjourn, then you guys adjourn for minutes.
if you have any information to share ahead of time, or if we come up with any information to share ahead of time, it would be helpful to be able to review it before we sit down and get it passed out. So kind of like to be prepared and
Sure.
to have the discussion if that's okay.
Motion to adjourn, Dale City Council.
Motion made by Gerald, second by Brian. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We gotta go.
Well, the council-
Entertain a motion to adjourn, County.
Have fun, Daryl.
Yeah, won't be good either.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Randy? Oh, you're on your own.
Good to see you guys.
Where'd you go?
Randy made it and seconded it.
Meeting, buddy.